Hi, my name is Noel Davis with Vermicompost, and here's our week 35 bin update. And last week we did not feed anything because I really feel that this bin is almost finished, and I think that we're not going to add any more food, as I said last week, and I think we're going to just sort this. This is going to be a quick update just to see how the bin is, and I think next week for my last video on this one, I'm going to sort the bin. So let's take a look at the bin and see how it is. Alright, so here's our bin here. Let's just take a look. A few worms here on the lid. Nice and moist. A little bit, no, it's actually not good. It's pretty good. There are some mites in here that I can see. I have a new bright light on that's in here, so I'm hoping that you can see this stuff a little better. So like by the worms over here, and there's more mites down here all around where the bin is really moist. So let's take a look in here. A couple of worms here on the sides, like right here. But overall, it looks pretty good. Not a whole lot of worms on the top. Let's just take a look here. Let's start digging this up a little bit. The material is really well worked through. I mean, you can see there's worms in here. As soon as you dig in at all, there's worms, which is a good sign. Same thing over here. I mean, as soon as you dig up anything, I mean, there's just a lot of worms in here. I mean, you can just see them all over here. I mean, look at all the worms that were in just that little tiny scoopful that I got. This material feels really nice. It's a little bit loose, but not too loose. Maybe it could be a little bit drier, but it's not bad. So overall, this is really good consistency. This material is definitely ready to be used in a garden or outside. Some of it's a little bit thicker than it really should be. Like this is it's a little thick, but it's not bad at all. I mean, there's still a little bit of food left in here. It's just a banana peel or piece of one that I saw right here. There's a banana peel that's still being worked on, or the top portion where it attaches to the tree, that little tip area is still being worked on. But a lot of worms in here. I mean, you can just see. This material is really, really well worked through. It's nice and dark color. So what we're going to do, I definitely think next week, when I get a chance to, I think I'm just going to sort this through, and we're going to see how many worms are in here and how this material really looks. And there's still some big chunks in here, but that's okay. I mean, that's going to happen no matter what. But I mean, just you can see, I mean, there's just a lot of movement in here with the worms, which is great. This is exactly what I was hoping would happen with this bin. I think it took a little longer because I added some stuff. I did some bad things to it that didn't help the bin at all and actually hurt it. But I think we're starting to see the fruits of our labor here. There's a little bit moisture in the bottom. Let's just see here if we can dig this up a little bit more. There's still some cardboard. Look at this. So this is what happens. The cardboard can get impacted on the bottom and nothing happens to it. So, but yeah, there's still cardboard right here. I mean, look at that. You can even tell. And this is probably when I first started the bin even. But what happens is it gets stuck in the bottom there. It gets a little bit of moisture buildup on it, and you know, it just sort of stays there. Nothing touches it, and the worms don't touch it either. It just doesn't break down. So let's just dig up this side a little bit over here. One thing that is surprising, I'm not seeing any cocoons really. I don't know if I just can't see them, or if there really are just not a whole lot in here. Which there might not be. I mean, I've cut back on feeding, so there's not a whole lot of reason for them to make a lot of cocoons. But I mean, just look at this scoopful, and there's a ton of worms in here. So there's just worms all through this bin, in all the different layers, all the way down to the bottom and to the top. So, so far, I think this bin is in really good shape. I think it is definitely done. It's heavy. I mean, you know, when I go to lift it, you can see the bottom just move. You can see the entire bin shift. It weighs probably about 40 pounds, which is about the max you really want these things. You don't want to get them too heavy where, you know, these sides start buckling and it becomes too heavy for you to move around or unwieldy. I mean, you don't want it to make it where you're bending over and you hurt your back lifting these bins. So that's my update for this week. I'm going to scrape off, I think, some of these worms from the top. There's a whole bunch in here. Real quick here before I close out here. But see, look at this. A whole bunch of worms right here. I'm just going to try to scrape these right into the bin. So that way they're in there. Because if they're by the edges of the lid, I will say that these bins will tighten on them and kill them. I was going to say that, you know, that's just one of the things that happens. I just kind of moved them all to the center here. one here on the outside. Wow. So, but that's my update for this week. The bin's doing really well. I think it's done. It needs to be sorted, and we need to just kind of move on. And that's why we have other bins that we do. That's why you never have just one bin. That way you can keep this going. You can have 2 or 3 bins, and you kind of rotate them through as you keep adding food to one, then you go to the other, then you sort one, and then that's a fresh bin, and then you can sort another one, and that allows you to keep rotating through these bins instead of always having issues where you're like, oh, I'm starting a new bin, and I can only add a little bit of food. You want to be able to add a lot. You want to be able to do those things. So I hope you enjoyed my series on this so far. I think our last video is next week or 2 weeks from now, and that's it for tonight. Thank you.